Jonathan Agov here for Pro Boxing Fans. Delighted as always to be joined by Dean Whyte. First of all, Dean, how you been?
I'm good. How are you, bud?
All good, all good. Come here at the Regis Prograis-Taylor press conference, also involving Derek Chisora and David Price. Let's start with the main event, Prograis-Taylor. A lot of people can't call this fight. How do you see it? Two unbeaten men.
Do you know what? I'm probably the same. Not sure how to call it. You've got Taylor, who's a phenomenal talent. Big fan of Taylor's. Watched him in some destructive wins against, O'Hara and a few other guys. And he fought was it the Russian kid? And done a number on him. Prograis, as you can see, is another guy who's been dominating at his division. So now we've got a fight. It's a pick'em fight, I'm just going to tune in as a fan. I want to see, and I'll just be hoping both guys put on a good performance and come out well and safe, to their families.
And Derek Chisora against David Price. Derek, who you've known pretty well over the years.
Derek, the nemesis. Yes, how you doing?
I mean, a lot of people were saying Price early, Chisora late. Although David Price last time out against Dave Allen proved that he can go 12 rounds unscathed. How do you see this one?
It's quite similar in terms of, well, not similar somewhat. I mean, you've got Chisora, who's always been known for his granite chin until he got knocked out by a deal. Sorry about that. They weren't meant to be like that. But I mean, until he got stopped in that fight, and Dave Allen is similar until he got stopped by David Price. He had a granite chin, always renowned for his toughness and durability. So it's quite an interesting matchup. Obviously, in terms of you'd slightly edged Chisora because of he's been on a great winning streak and he's relentless. Even in that fight with my bro Dylan, some people had him winning. Not sure how, me personally, but I mean some people had him winning, and he's just relentless. He doesn't stop coming forward, doesn't stop throwing punches. So some people have him winning. I personally, I really like David Price. He's a good guy. I was so happy that he won against Dave Allen. Obviously, I do like Dave Allen also. Nothing against him, but in terms of you've got good people in boxing and maybe not got their crack at the whip and not had the luck. So it was good that he came back, managed to win, and that's boosted his confidence. And hopefully, going into this fight, he'll have the confidence to say, well, he can dictate with his jab and keep the distance. And how you doing, bro? You right, yeah? Big man, yeah. He can keep the distance, use his jab, be able to hold at the right times, slow the pace down to his, and he's got a lot of power in that right hand. Listen. If you don't want to get hit on the chin, flush with that. So I understand why people are saying him early, Chisora late. But I mean, Chisora is known, he's got that big old overhand right, that hook what he throws. He absolutely splattered Spilka with it last time. So, Price has got to watch out. He's got all to do. It's a hard fight. Obviously, if you're a betting man, obviously I could understand Chisora being a favourite. Possibly lean to him a little bit in that aspect. But, I'm hoping he'll do a good job. What's happening?
I'll catch up with you in a bit.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, so that's my opinion on that.
And quickly run through the rest of the card. Lee Selby against Ricky Burns, another brilliant fight. Lawrence Okoli, Conor Benn. I mean, how good is this card?
It's an endless list of great 50-50 fights. Selby, seemed to be a little bit on the wand. Burns, was he freeweight world champion? So he's someone, but he's obviously a little bit older than Selby. So it's definitely an interesting fight. It's hard to call, Whoever turns up on their night is going to be doing the thing. But in that one, I'm not even going to show. Okoli and the Belgian kid, Ngannou, is another fight. I saw them both on the pads. Ngannou looks strong. That left hook looks nice. He was jabbing. He looks quite, nice movement. But for me, I saw Okoli looking very, very sharp. The right hand, he's delivering it a lot better. Under the tutelage of Shane McGuigan, he seems to be improving immensely from what I've seen. Just looking at the deliverance, the jab looks sharp, but the right hand for me is looking the delivery is looking a lot better. So it's definitely an interesting fight. Can Okoli keep the distance? Can Ngannou cut the ring and go to the body and work him and throw? But listen, he's a European champ. So we've got to give him the credit. We've got to give him his due. He's European champ. Obviously now Okoli's stepping up to this level, and he's got to go. He's got it all to do, basically.
Before we get on to what's next, upcoming fights, I do want to talk about the WBC convention yesterday in Mexico. Dillian Whyte, your brother, is number one with the WBC, but they did announce that he won't get a shot. that he won't get a shot until February 2020 if he's cleared by UCAD. Just your reaction to that?
Tell that guy to go away. Take it easy. It's ridiculous. Listen, these people, they do as they want, and we've known this. I'm not going to lie and pretend. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised in none of us in the least, you know. So some people might be shocked, but I'm not shocked because, you know, they've defended their champion quite well, and they've honoured him in terms of the fights they've matched him with, and they're still loyal and true to Deontay Wilder. So I'm not surprised, because what it is as you can see, they've moved Lomachenko up to franchise champion, and then Devin Haney up to WBC regular champion. I'm surprised that they didn't make Deontay Wilder franchise champion. He's been a long-reigning champion for some time, longer than Lomachenko. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't they have honoured him in the same fashion? The reason being is because they'd have to elevate my bro Dillian Whyte to WBC regular champion, and I'm sure they didn't want to do that. So there's always a thing behind this. But listen, I'm not surprised in any of this, what's going on. So let's see what the moves are next from my brother's team and stuff. So we got to look at the situation, and he just needs to concentrate and not be distracted by something like this, and focus on. I believe he's meant to be fighting in December, getting in shape, being ready for that fight. 2020 is upon us already. Before you blink, he could have 2 fights, and we're approaching yet again 2021. So listen, it is what it is. There's nothing you can do. All you can do is continue to stay and be a true professional, stay in the gym, stay sharp, and stay relevant. Maybe you could go and fight Usyk possibly for the vacant WBO, because I'm hearing that belt will probably become vacant. So there's many options, but he just needs to stay level-headed, not get distracted with the stuff what's going on outside the ring. His job is to be in the ring, be a fighter, and do his stuff. The team behind him need to be the ones who need to make the right decision for him at the time. You know?
You mentioned Deontay Wilder, obviously rematch with Ruiz-Ortiz coming up. Ruiz-Ortiz did give him a lot of problems in the first fight. Do you see it as a similar fight, or do you think Wilder will blow him out?
You know, it's quite weird. In terms of fighting, sometimes, you know, when you fight someone, later on it's either you become more known to the opponent. So there's 2 ways this goes. It's either Deontay Wilder now goes in there and he's like, well, I actually know a little bit more about this guy. I know what he does or what's the takes. And he might just come out and say, you know what, this guy can't take my power, and I'm going to steamroll him and try and blitz him and try and get him out of there. And I think obviously Ortiz will be a little bit more smarter and wiser in this fight also. But I don't know. I think if you're a betting man, you're going to go with Deontay Wilder with the power. He's younger, still got a lot of hunger in him. Or you could go with the Cuban, who is old, is experienced, very talented, and maybe he will show signs of improvement in his old age and do something what a lot of people want to do, get rid of Deontay Wilder. And then the door's open for people to get these fights done what they want to see, because at the minute, not being funny, we're not getting the fights. The WBC is doing a good job of looking after Deontay Wilder. All respect due, sorry about that, guys. Doing a good job of looking after him, and they're not matching the fights the fans want to see. They want to see Dillian Whyte versus Deontay Wilder. They want to see Joshua versus Wilder, and so many other fights. So I think if Ortiz does win, I think it might open up the door, and I think his team will probably be more easier to do matchmaking with. I believe. You know what I mean?
Another rematch obviously coming up December 7th, Joshua and Ruiz. In your opinion, how does Joshua win this fight? And give me a prediction.
Joshua, the way to win this fight for Joshua, I believe, is to, you know, he's going to have to use a little bit of movement like he did in the first fight. I don't believe too much. I think he needs to use his jab, double up his jab a little bit more, jab, and a little bit more. He's not a feinter, but I think he needs to feint. You've got to feint for someone like Ruiz. You've got to feint. You've got to give him something to think about. He's very, very fast. He's a person who does a combination punching. And I think he just needs to not get into a fight with Ruiz. He's too fast, the combination punching. And Ruiz is going to the body early, very smart. So I think Joshua might want to take that lead in terms of jabbing to the head, jabbing to the body, to keep that range and understand the range and kind of move. And not get into a war, because that's what kind of was his undoing. Trying to get into a war, rushing in for the kill instead of being a little bit more composed. I know it's easier said than done, but I mean, try and be a bit more composed. When he came in close, Andy was going to the body early and investing, and did a great job. And you know, he's down in the history books now as the Mexican first heavyweight Mexican champion. So listen, it's a brilliant job. So you know, it's just about being smart, I think, and I think that's what Joshua needs to do. Use his jab, double it up, and be smart. Use the ring, and just keep it basic. Get the win, and just come back with the belts and readjust, and that's it.
Another Mexican champion in action. Canelo-Alvarez stepping up in weight to fight Chisora-Kovalev. A lot of people have Canelo as favourite, even though he's jumping up in weight. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%. Listen, let me tell you something. Funny enough, I saw on someone's page today, I did write a little bit of a long write-up for someone on there, because what I believe is Canelo is a fantastic talent. I think he's a young man that's had over, 50 fights or so. And, I mean, he's done extremely well for himself. And, I mean, they've matched him very, very good in terms of him being, what is he going to be, 3 or 4 world champion going for this fight? So what it is, look, he got Rocky Fielding. Easy fight. Not easy, sorry to disrespect Roy. But in terms of when you're talking about Canelo, it was an easy. He's gone up and faced probably arguably one of the easier opponents he could have at that weight. No disrespect to Rocky Fielding, he's a decent guy. And won that belt vacated. In this instance, yet again, he's going to fight Kovalev, who is the crusher, but not the crusher we know when he was a devastating crusher at his best and nuking everyone. So he's going to have an easier job to crush this crusher. As you saw, Anthony Yard went up there, stepped up. He came a little bit short, but if he invested in the body from the first or second round, he would have got better dividends. I know Canelo is going to go in there from the beginning. Him as a combination puncher is an animal. He goes to the body very good and goes to the head very well. He is going to obliterate Kovalev, trust me. Kovalev's got a good jab. He does a jab. He does 1-2-1, very, very good. Not sure how that's going to work against Canelo, but I've got Canelo winning very comfortable with a great, great stoppage to the body.
Finally, on to you. What have you got going on? We've got Shaq and Pitters, who won the English title. Richie Riapple looks like he's going to go for the vacant British title. What else do you have going on?
I've got some things in the pipeline. I'm just working on some signings now. I've got a heavyweight potentially, and a few other guys, but still negotiating with contracts and stuff. So just got to keep plugging away, man. You know what I mean?
Brilliant stuff. Well, Dean Whyte, as always, it's been a pleasure, and we look forward to Saturday night.